If you don't care enough to make shades for me, if you don't care enough to invite people that look like me on trips or have people that look like me on campaigns, then I don't care about your reputation. Thank you.
Golloria George is changing the beauty game on social media. A refugee from South Sudan, Golloria has captivated audiences with her viral makeup tutorials, product reviews, and advocacy for Black women. Her powerful voice is reshaping industry standards, calling for tone inclusivity and gaining millions of views. That's why today, she's in the Creator Spotlight. Golloria George, welcome to Creator Spotlight.
Hi, guys.
This is so exciting.
No, it is. Like, I literally was on my toes to be here. Like, hey, girl.
I'm a fan. I discovered you, surprisingly, on Threads.
Okay, that's so weird. Odd.
You were going viral, of course. This was the
gosh.
recent viral video, the YOUTHFORIA one. I feel like it's like infamous right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this person?
This is the darkest shade of the YOUTHFORIA foundation. This is black face paint. Sometimes it's okay to say, hey, maybe my brand is not made for complexion.
Oh my God. I was obviously in horror watching that video.
Yeah.
And then I was like, the end of this brand, but the more of a launching pad for your brand.
Yes. Yes.
So with that said, let's back up. How did we get here?
You know, it came literally out of nowhere. I feel like I was in school. I was in college and I was also working 2 full-time jobs. After I was done with everything, then I would like film my content on the side.
Yeah.
And you know, it didn't really do very well at first, but I feel like that's just with like every creator's journey. It's just like, it's just a slow growth. And then I posted this one Fenty beauty video. I actually got the Fenty matchstick. I think I literally like worked so many hours. Like I was like, okay, I have a little bit left over in my check. Let's go to Ulta. And I went to Ulta and I got my little Fenty beauty matchstick. And I was like, okay, this is like the first contour that I've literally ever seen this dark. And I need to try it for a video. And I tried it for a video and it like literally went crazy. And from there, it was just like magic. Like, girl, you're here. You've done it. You've done the things. And it was really fast-paced growth. I've only been doing this for about 2 years, which is honestly really insane to see like the full 360, but my life has like completely changed. And it was really hard at first, just simply because like when you go from like not really like I feel like I felt so small just because that's how like the world makes dark-skinned women feel sometimes. So to go from that to being completely just like so extremely hyper visible was like, wow.
What was the first deal where you got paid to do what you do?
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember?
One that I remember is NARS. NARS was like my first brand deal and my first brand trip.
Oh.
Yeah. And I literally, like when I first got that check, direct deposit, I was like, oh, there's no way the girls are living like this. It cannot be in my world that they're living in. It was crazy. I literally couldn't even conceptualize that people could make that much money. And it wasn't even like a crazy amount of money at that time, but it's just like, girl, to go from having nothing all of your life to working literally 2 jobs just to barely scrape by to literally in one check being able to pay your rent 3 times over is insane.
But then on the other side of things, I feel like people see this and they're like, everyone wants to do it too, but it's not easy.
No, it's not easy. It's like, yeah, I'm getting paid, but my managers fight for me to get paid. My team fights for me to get paid, and they advocate for me so much. And I know that I'm not getting paid as much as these other beauty creators, even though I feel like in terms of engagement or followers, I feel like I'm up there. I feel like the beauty girls know who I am, right? But I know I'm not getting paid as much simply just because I'm Black. There's that wage gap, and I feel like the conversation needs to be had, but I also feel like people need to be open to hearing the conversation. And I feel like a lot of people aren't open to hearing the conversation.
Well, if you're going to have the conversation here, what would you say?
Literally, like, pay Black creators, have Black people in the rooms, invite us on the brand trips, have Black people on your teams. If you actually want to stand by inclusivity and have that be a pillar of the groundwork that you do for your company, stand by it. Thank you.
And so what are you doing to call forth those brands?
Yeah, I have a lot of conversations behind the scenes. My managers have a lot of conversations behind the scenes with a lot of brands. And there's a lot of work being done. We also, like, I've been a shade consultant for so many brands. Like, I am doing so much work behind the scenes to make sure that Black women are being seen, and especially dark-skinned women are being seen in this space, and just being included as well. And I feel like a lot of Black women in this space have also have come to that realization, especially in this last year, we know our worth, we spend the most in beauty.
Yeah, and like what you said, you're more powerful in numbers.
Yeah.
And the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
When you started your brand, your personal brand, was it with this in mind, what it's become in terms of brands probably looking at you saying, oh my God, I hope she covers us, but I'm scared.
Doing my darkest shade videos, I knew that I had to be unapologetically myself. And I knew that I might have been blacklisted. I knew that I probably wouldn't get the PR. I might not get the brand deals because I'm calling out these brands, but I don't care. I don't care. If you don't care enough to make shades for me, if you don't care enough to invite people that look like me on trips or have people that look like me on campaigns, then I don't care about your reputation. Thank you. Okay. And that's just it, because inclusivity and tone inclusion is the absolute bare minimum. And if you're not going to do it, don't be a beauty brand.
Yep.
And then it's 2024. Do better. That's just do better.
Yeah. Like the YOUTHFORIA video. Did you realize it was going to get that big?
I knew. I feel like I texted my managers. I did text my managers, actually. I was like, I'm about to post a video. I'm sorry if I literally was like, I'm sorry if there's any backlash or anything, but something is not right. And I am not a cosmetic chemist. So at that time, I didn't know that it was jet black. I think the only thing that I knew is that the closest comparison that I can make a comparison to was jet black foundation. And once I made that comparison and the cosmetic chemists started coming in, they were like, this is literally actually jet black. You guys are trying to gaslight her. I may not be the darkest of complexions, but I know I am one of the darkest, right? And so I knew that there was no way in hell this was going to work for anyone. I am from South Sudan, some of the darkest people in the world. I have seen dark, and we are not jet black, right? And so for me, it was just this is bigger than just inclusion. This is full-blown racism. Full-blown racism. And I say that because it's not this was the first time that you hit the mark. If that is your definition of better, you need to do better.
It was traumatizing.
It was literally traumatizing. And imagine experiencing that, swatching it on your face and being like, wow, this is literally how the world perceives us. How do you even conceptualize that? I feel internally it was I was fighting a battle. I knew that this video was gonna go viral to some extent. I feel all my darkest shade videos go viral, but I knew that this one probably would have changed the trajectory of my career. It clearly did. And I feel so sorry for the brand. It's no more brand, but also I don't feel that sorry.
Did they respond?
The apology was very AI. It was very much so, yeah, we're trying our best to be inclusion. Go to our site to look at the inclusion stuff. That's literally basically what it said. They were like, oh, we hired a DI person. You hired a DI person, but you gave them four jobs. Are they getting paid for those 4 jobs? Because not only are they DEI, but they're doing everything else as well. Thank you. Next. And that's all I could say about YOUTHFORIA.
End of chapter.
Literally, deserve better. We deserve better, and that's it. Genuinely.
Well, let's move on.
Yes.
So with that said, what brands are doing it right? What brands do you like working with?
Okay. Of course, Fenty Beauty. Love you, girl. We're really twinning them. We're kind of dabbling into a lot of celebrity makeup brands. House Labs. Gaga. If I could kiss you, I think About Face. Halsey, girl, you're getting up there. And then, of course, we have my Black-owned brands. We have by Ami Collet. We have Topicals. We have Pat's motherfucking McGrath, an icon.
What are the integrations? How do you integrate a brand? I mean, it's clear. You just do the Get Ready With Me video.
Sure.
I mean, it's easy, right?
It's so easy. I feel if I get PR, and I'm always trying new products.
Yeah.
There's a new product that I like, and I really like it. I'll try it for a few days, a week or two, and then I'll make a video about it. And I'll be like, okay, this is fire. This is really fire. There are a few products that have done that to me. Right now, it's definitely the Fenty lip liner that just came out, darkest lip liner to exist. I was so excited when I got that in PR, and it's unreleased because Rihanna loves me. Love you too, boo. So crazy. I got that weeks ago, guys. And I tried it, and I was like, this is iconic. This is literally about to change the game for so many dark-skinned girls. If you work with me, you work with me, girl. Make sure the product is good. Make sure you know what you're doing. Cosmetic chemists be chemisting. There's so many brands that I've worked with, so many amazing brands. I feel even though there are some of the brands that I'm just ellipses, there are also the good ones. And I love working with the good ones. So, yeah.
And you're also transitioning into modeling.
Yes.
Not surprising. I mean, you are
Look at my face, guys.
Hello.
Crazy.
Was that always a dream of yours?
It was.
Okay.
It was. I feel like South Sudanese girls, like, we just model. We see so many South Sudanese girls on the runway, and I have been inspired by so many of them. And it's always been, I feel like probably since I was like 13 or 14, I was like, I want to model. And I just cannot wait to see what the future unfolds.
Me too, because I don't think I've ever been like friendly, new friends with a runway model.
Like, it's about to be
I'm going to be like, someone I know is on the runway.
Not you gonna be front row on my show.
I'm gonna be DMing you.
I'm gonna be, hey boo. Like, yes.
I know I'm part of your creator days, but we're still here for you.
You're still here for me. I remember you for life, girl, for life.
So yeah, do you feel like you'll always be though a creator at heart? Because that's what brings the deals, right?
Yeah,
and even the modeling stuff.
I think I'll always be a creator at heart. I feel like they'll probably get like the BTS of me like at Fashion Week or in Milan. I feel like my content might take a little shift. And I might not do as much as like the darkest shade videos, but I know that that's like what made me a lot of me. So I'm always going to like go back to it every once in a while. But I think that it's important to note that people can grow. I feel like a lot of the internet and a lot of the people on the internet try to put a lot of creators in a box, and especially Black women. I feel like they try to put a lot of Black women in a box, and I refuse to be in it. So I am spreading my wings and I am flying, and you can support me. I hope you do. And if you don't, that's okay.
Were you always interested in the beauty space?
So I honestly, like growing up, I was not very interested in the beauty space. I feel like I grew up a very like quiet but confident child. I feel like I was confident at home, but like in public spaces or at school, I was just really quiet just because like I walk into the room and I'm like the only Black person, or I'm like the only dark skinned person. And like I'm very dark. So it's like I know I'm like the darkest person a person has like seen in that day, you know? So it was always very, very weird for me to just like navigate life being as dark as I was, and also being South Sudanese. I'm a refugee, so we did not have a lot. Like we've never really had a lot. We were always living in like Section 8. Like we were impoverished. Like it was so bad. And I feel like a lot of South Sudanese people do have that same experience, is that it was just really bad coming from Sudan to here. And I just saw my mom work really hard, really, really hard, way harder than she like should have. And I feel like that's a very common experience with immigrants and refugees as well. And so it just kind of like lit a spark under my butt. I was like, girl, no, something has to change. Something has to shift. I always knew I was destined for something. I didn't know what it was at that time, but I knew that like there was no way that we were going to come here and I wasn't going to make something out of myself.
Did you have anyone growing up that you looked up to for that?
You know, I feel like I didn't have a lot of access to like a ton of technology just because like it was expensive. We didn't have access to it. But once I did get like a first piece of technology, I discovered NYMA around like 13, 14 years old. And she is a YouTuber, and she's also from South Sudan. Colorism was way worse back then. I would say it was way worse back then. I feel like now people are kind of like, I don't want to say hopping onto like the African wave and like the Afrobeats wave and like being, you know, Sudanese, but I feel like now it's just like, you see me, you know who I am. Like, I know when y'all see me, y'all know I'm from South Sudan, so don't play, okay? But back then, I know she went through a lot. So I just like remember being so little and small and watching her videos, and then meeting her for the first time and like being in a space with her, like, girl, the tears. It was crazy. I literally met her, and it was just like, the smiles were just like, it was just so full circle for me, and I'm just so glad to know her and just be in her presence, honestly.
I love that. And it's too bad she had those challenges, and there wasn't more people at that point, more Black women doing what she was doing. There wasn't. It
was like, I think NYMA carried a lot on her back, and I also feel like, you know, she had a lot of pressure on her, and she did it by herself.
Do you have Sudanese or South Sudanese women watching your videos that are from the U.S. but also aren't?
Yeah, I do, like all over the world, and it's insane. South Sudan girls on top. Like, that's all I could say, on top. I mean, we're in the modeling industry, we're in the beauty industry, we're everywhere, and I just hope to see more of us everywhere. I feel like it's what we deserve.
What is the key to a great Get Ready With Me video?
True authenticity. Like, I feel like I am exactly how I am in my videos in person. You gotta literally, like, this is your world and everybody else is living in it, okay? Like, literally just be yourself. And I feel like that's what makes a good creator, is being yourself and like holding true to you and never losing sight of that.
So what advice do you have for beauty creators right now?
Ooh, girl. Be different. I feel like that is the best advice I could give you, is to be different. I feel like we have a lot of the same things happening in beauty, a lot of the same launches, nothing really fun. And the best thing that you could do for yourself, your mental health, and everybody else watching you is to be yourself, be different, and exist unapologetically for yourself.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
I love what you're up to.
Thank
and
you.
You're just rocking it, and keep on going.
you.
I
I
can't
really
wait to
appreciate
see how far you go.
Real far.